well, migration is an important, actually it is a fundamental issue today because we live in a world of mobility. A world that has never been so characterized, by migration, as much as today, as much as in this, for different reasons. There is transportation is much easier. Communication also among different, continents is also, it has become instantaneous. So, but I mean, there is international migration, but there are also other kinds of migration. There is also internal migration. People move to, to find a job. People move to go to a conference. People move because they have to go and visit their families. Mobility is really what characterizes a globalized world. Migration, in fact, and the migrants, I believe, are the human face of what we call globalization. This phenomenon that we try to define in different ways. Yeah. In terms of theology, I would say that it is precisely because of this that we theologians, we believers, Christian believers, we have to give attention to this phenomenon. We have to give more attention, specifically more attention that we have given to, before. I think that before we have always tried to do theology without thinking. And even today, I think the majority of theologians do not take this phenomenon, this worldwide phenomenon, into consideration when they do theology. But I believe that in an age of migration, as Stephen Castles and Mark Miller say, characterize, our era, we have to do theology looking always and keeping always in mind the phenomenon of migration, and especially to say the phenomenon of migration, it remains still abstract. We have to keep in mind the faces and the histories of the migrants. Here I think comes the question really of Catholicity. Which for me is we traditionally we have understood Catholicity as one of the four main nodes of the church. When we recite our creed in the church, we say that the church is one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic. I think the main challenge today for the church is to become Catholic. When we say, it is interesting because when we say that we are Catholic in the church, we are not saying, we are not just expressing a reality. I think we are expressing a hope, an ideal. In fact, Catholicity is not a reality. It is a journey. We are journeying toward Catholicity. We are journeying toward a church that is able to listen and absorb the different voices, in which convivencia, the word that has been used also today during one of our talks, becomes a reality. Convivencia means living together, but also enjoying life together, celebrating life together, also from a perspective of faith. A local church, German local church, the Italian local church. We know that in our today in our churches there are there is a presence of migrants, and we have to listen. We have to learn from those voices, and we have to interact with those voices. When we talk about integration, integration is not a one-way process and one-way dynamic. It's a process of giving and also of receiving. So it has to be the effort of the local community, the indigenous, let's say the indigenous community, and the various also migrant communities. And I think that in this effort, in this to live this in this context of convivencia, that we build little by little, Catholicity. Yeah. Let me just mention two. First of all, just in the context of this convivencia, I think the theology of migration now should underline the question of relationships, friendship, connectedness with other people, to be neighbors to other people. This, of course, has its roots in the Trinitarian theology, because basically our God is Trinity. Our God is relational, at least in the Christian tradition, which is very important. I mean, it is fundamental. It is essential. So I believe that we have to work in that direction. Because I mean, in the experiences of migrants, we learn, we listen a lot to this situation of isolation. Isolation is when our people are divided. Isolation is when people, you know, do not communicate to each other. Well, we have to bring people together and communicate to each other. And this is the effort of relationships. Of connecting people, of helping people to communicate with each other. I think that is one thing that the theology of migration has to develop, much more than has done until now. The other thing I believe is, maybe we have not thought a lot about this, is a theology for the second and third generations. What happens with the children of migrants? What is happening with them? What is their faith? Are we transmitting them the faith of our ancestors? I think that is another theme that should be the niche needs, you know, much development, you know, in our theology. Otherwise, I think we will lose entire generations of young people. The children of migrants will be lost. We will be left behind, you know, by our theology. Yeah. I think that is a wish that's natural. You know, that's a natural thing for any human being, you know, to keep, you know, its identity, his or her identity as a group, etc. But there is another story that has to be told about identity. Identity is not, you know, something that has been decided once and for all. You know, my identity has changed. Why it has changed? It has changed because I have gone to other places. I have learned other things. I have met other people. Identity grows and changes in the encounter with people, in the relationship with other people. So I think you can keep, you know, I mean, this does not mean that you have to renounce to your, you know, ethnic and cultural roots, but that you have to grow in your identity by, again, communicating, relating with other groups. This is what we have to understand. This is going back to what I was saying before, is the struggle, you know, I will say the struggle for Catholicity. Yeah. Well, I think my story is like the story of somebody who has chosen to join a congregation, a religious order that works with migrants. So it has been a vocational, you know, option, a vocational choice that I have taken, you know. And what really has always enriched me, it is the encounter with people from different culture. Also the ideal of building a church that is different from a monocultural church, a church that is really intercultural, a church that is really Catholic. You know, there are different things there that are, you know, and I think then as a human being, you know, if you remain closed in your own world, I think you will never, I don't know, succeed, or you will never develop fully as a human being. You know, you develop fully as a human being in the relation with the others, especially if that other, if that person who is in front of you is very different from you. Yeah?